Up the topic, walking for health and happiness. Basically, all of you probably seen that the Buddha actually walked from place to place preaching the Dhammas, right? And it's one of the simplest things that we can do, is walking. How did I get involved in walking? Basically, to stay alive. Alright, about 2007, I was inflicted with a chronic, what we call upper respiratory infection, and the cough and cold then doesn't recover at all. So for 8 or 9 months, I will cough, and I sometimes get very breathless. You know, if you would have seen how a fish is taken out of water and flapping around like half dead, you will see me like that kind of a person. And I won't be as bright as I am sitting here talking to all of you. Then my journey with Buddhism came a long way. 2003, when I first got involved with the Buddhist fellowship, Dr. Henryo, my friend there, actually brought me here. And it actually all started to dawn on me when I was in Phuket. When I was in Phuket, all of us, a group of 20 over friends who were all of them Christians, was with me together, and we were on a boat from Phuket traveling to Phi Island. And the boat actually hit waves that are as high as like 1 meter. But after it hit like 6 or 7 times, the boat gave way and it sank almost immediately. So within 2 or 3 minutes, all of us were in the water. And it's like 1 meter wave beating on all of us. And fortunately, all of us managed to grab the life jackets on time. And within like about 20 minutes, all of us were picked up by various vessels and brought to Phi Island. Strangely, as I related this incident to my friends, superstition came along the way. And the night before this incident, we were actually eating fish in a seafood restaurant. And all of us have this great mouth that we say, never mind, we turn the fish upside down, nothing will happen. And well, flip the fish over, the next day the boat sank. Alright, so the moral of the story, when old people tell you their wisdom tales, please listen, because they carry some degree of truth from the experiences they encounter. Now, strangely enough, after the incident, the next day we were brought onto a city tour. The city tour, actually, the first stop was a temple, which is called Wat Chalong Temple in Phuket. While everybody was having a good time walking around the temple, I walked up to one of the stupas that's like about 4th or 5th story up there. And there I encountered a white Buddha, which is quite a big one. And I sat there like for 2-3 minutes and said a prayer of thanks for being alive and for having none of us in the boat that drowned with it. Because on average in Phuket, every year or so you get people drowning in boat accidents or whatever. So that was my encounter. And with that, my trips to Buddhist fellowship, I collected a lot of information. As you can see, I brought it along with me. All this, I'll show it to all of you afterwards. I want to tell you some of these things make a big difference in my life, and I shall share it with you. Now, back to my infection and my respiratory problems. Last year, 2008, sometime in March or so, I was recovering a little bit better at that time, but I realized that I will not recover well enough. And I was on a holiday trip to Yunnan, which has got an elevation about 3,800 meters, where some parts where the oxygen level was very low. So I realized that if I don't do something about my health, I will not be able to accomplish that trip. So what happened is that I started to walk. And my home being very near to McRitchie Reservoir, every morning I decided to walk. I started to walk, but when I walk, what happened is that I found that my mind ran wild like a monkey inside. Every time when you do something, your thoughts keep coming back and forth. And you get a lot of volitions like wild thoughts and all that. In the past, all of us will encounter our lives, and sometimes there are difficult times. Sometimes we go to work, we get scolded. Sometimes we get belittled. Sometimes whatever you do is never enough. And you get all kinds of criticism. Good people who want to get a job done will have to be very tough. And whenever you're tough, you're never popular. But if you're a nice guy, everybody will love you, but no work get done. That's the kind of thing that always happen in the industrial world. I spent about over 20 years in multinationals, and I've seen it all. And every time I went through all these activities, whether it be 5-star treatment or health treatment, I ended up with one thing that's in my mind. I found all these things are quite empty. And I shall describe to you afterwards what all this emptiness is all about and what we can do to actually use this emptiness and voidness to benefit ourselves. Now, how I got well was I started to walk, and when I walked, with all these wild thoughts coming into my mind, I had to tame it. Now, in order to tame it, I found something that I picked up along the way in one of our talks in Buddhist lodge, and it was this booklet. This booklet had Om Mani Padme Hum, and it's got the Heart Sutra. Alright? Now, Om Mani Padme Hum was something that I started to use, and I kept reciting it in my head. But being a human, after a while, we start to get bored, and the mind goes wild again. Then, what happened? I found Metta Sutta. Alright? Metta Sutta by Venerable Mahinda. Alright? Now, this CD and MP3, if you can lay hands on it, you should, because it can really make a difference in your life. Now, I found that to use this on its own is a very long talk. So what I did is that I downloaded some computer programs from the internet, download.com. They had some audio-video converters. I started to take only portions and trim it down. And after I trim it down, what I do is that I put into these MP3s. These MP3s, you can take it out. So when you take it out, I plug it and I listen to it and I walked. And I found that it's extremely meaningful and it helped me to sustain my walk. Now, to let you know, I've been doing this almost every day since March of last year until now. Alright. Anytime when I wanted to give up, one of these things will come and nudge me. So I found it that it's in a way addictive. Alright? But I don't call it addictive in a bad sense, but I rather call it in a good sense, because reflection on the Dharma is very, very important. What I'll go through with you is, I'm going to take a few things, quite a fair bit of things that happen to me. As I go along the route, I pick it up, and I also combine it with photography, places that I visit, and I also put up some quotes with materials from some of these books, as well as some of the materials that Henry loaned to me. So if you have any questions along the way, you can just stop me, all right? Everybody can listen, can hear my voice? All right. Okay, now, walking for health and happiness. Right, walking is something that we have to do. And all of us get all kinds of illnesses because we don't have enough physical activity. All right. Now, I took this picture and I put it out here. One of the reasons I wanted to show all of you is that this picture was taken in Shanghai, and it's called the Fangshan Bridge at Zhujiajiao. Now, this bridge is very interesting in the sense that it actually joined the river. I always look at bridges as something that link people together or link places together. Now, it brings happiness to a lot of people. Now, the river itself is the river of life. All of us in our journey through life actually will flow like a river. From the time we are born and the time we die is at the time where we are washed out into the sea. Alright, so we have difficult days, we have good days, we have happy days, we have sad days. Alright, now, and of course, the interesting part about this river is that this river is, if you go to Zhujiajiao in Shanghai, this place, at one end of the bridge, people will be selling you fishes, and you actually release the fish into the water, an act of kindness itself. That's why I put up this picture. Right. Now, alright, we talk about happiness. What would Buddha do to be happy? This one was taken from the book, What Would Buddha Do? Now, seek health, the greatest blessing, follow virtue, listen to people, read good books, and learn. Be truthful, break the chain of sad attachment. These 6 paths lead to the greatest good. That's from Jatakas 84. And the picture was in Shanghai in one of the city parks. Early in the morning, actually, in these city parks, you will see a lot of young and old people walking, doing exercises. And that's the main reason I wanted to show you this picture, and I will share along the way. Right? How it all started, I told you all one part how I started these walks. But if you were to look at this picture, there are 2 persons in there. Alright? One person is on the left and one person is on the right. These are 2 of my friends. Right? Now, the person on the left died April 20th last year. Okay? After a 3-year fight with leukemia. Right? Now, this picture was special in a way because when I was having my respiratory problems, I was actually counseling this friend of mine. There were 2 of us, very sick, very heartbeat person. And both of us had very good doctors looking after us. So, and then along the way, on September 26, I came across this article by Deepak Chopra. And it says, I saw patients who had the same disease, the same doctor, the same medication, the same treatment, and how they responded differently. It all depended on their internal state of consciousness. My casual interest in this slowly led me to the path of emotional healing. So now, if you were to think about it, yes, some very great doctors are there. They treat the same patient the same way, but some make it, some don't make it. Why? Alright? The question is internal state of consciousness. Now, just to share with you, this is a picture taken in one evening in McRitchie Reservoir. And I just put a caption there. Happiness is good. The place to be happy is here. the time to be happy is now. The way to be happy is to help make others happy. Right? So I will share with you later on how you and every one of us will influence each other. What is happiness? Happiness is making peace with yourself. Being at peace with yourself, you learn to be happy and you smile readily. When you smile readily to yourself and to others, the energy of your happiness is shared and transferred to all others around you. Now the world will smile with you. Now, in the Dhammapada, there is one saying that the foolish man seeks happiness in the distance. The wise man grows it under his feet. Now, just to relate about this is that many of us, we tend to look outside for happiness. Every time we're not happy, we feel lonely or anything like that, we will go shopping or we will go see a movie, we'll go look for some friends here and there. It's all outside. But sometimes we look at all these and say, after we get it, we still feel hollow. Why? Why are we still feeling hollow about it? We can go for a nice, lovely cruise on a ship, eat to our heart's content, then we come back into our own homes, and tomorrow you find, oh, it's so empty. Alright, so there's kind of feeling. Some of us go shopping, we buy our greatest handbag, and we come back, after we got it in our hand, no more thrill. Now, okay, let's talk about walking for health. Benefits of walking. What does walking really do? This was taken from a website called walkingabout.com. Any of you interested to know more about walking, you should go to this website, because walking has got some techniques and there are certain things that you need to take care about, the precautions to take, etc. But all in all, walking 30 minutes a day lengthened life by 1.3 years and added 1.1 more years without cardiovascular disease compared with those with low activity levels. One living example is this person out here. Those who chose a high physical activity level gained 3.7 years of life and added 3.3 more years without cardiovascular disease. Invest 30 minutes of walking a day and you will spend 49 days of the next 12 years of your life walking to gain 1.3 healthy years. Right? If you hate exercise, imagine how much more you will hate surgery and all of the bottles of expensive pills you must take. Giving yourself an extra healthy year or 2 or 3 is well worth it. Alright, I just have to let you know that I have quite a lot of pills to take which I don't really enjoy, but I just close my eyes and treat it like food. Now, this is walking meditation. I think basically walking meditation would be useful for people who are actually doing long sitting meditation. And when you do long sitting meditation, you combine it with walking meditation to get your circulation going. Alright. If you can lay hands on this book called The Mirror Within, I think sometimes you can get it at some of the temples or anything. It should give you all the information that you need about walking meditation. Alright, I won't cover in detail here, okay? Because in my walks, I do a modified form. But all in all, important things about walking meditations is perceiving of the 4 elements. Alright, important thing is the lightness of the foot as it lifts, basically the fire, air elements, and the 5 fire element dominating, right? Then you perceive the movement of the foot as it pushes forward, the air element, and then you perceive the heaviness of the foot as it is being put down, the water element. Then you perceive the hardness and softness of the foot as it touches the ground, the earth element. Now, perceiving mind and matter, as you practice, you will perceive mind, nama, and matter, rupa, the movements of awareness, and the movement of the foot. Right? This you will have to practice it to really feel it. Then perceiving conditionality in all phenomena. All the movements do not happen on their own. Now, this is important. They always preceded with intention. So with this practice, you understand and see conditionally in all things the law of cause and effect. Now, perceiving impermanence, things are always arising and falling, arising and disappearing, always changing, always impermanent. A meditator should comprehend the impermanence of the mind and matter and not be deceived by the illusion of continuity. So your legs, your feet actually move, your leg goes up, down, and touch the ground, and it is a cycle over and over again. So telling you that every cycle begins and ends and it starts all over again, like birth and rebirth. Right? Perceiving unsatisfactoriness, when one sees impermanence, one will also see unsatisfactory in conditioned things. There is nothing to be attached to or crave to. Right? Then the perceiving of the non-self, conditioned things are always changing. One thing conditions the arising of another thing. They are impermanent. As they are impermanent, clinging to them cannot be satisfactory. We have to master over them. There is no entity to control them. It is by comprehending the three characteristics of existence, impermanence, suffering, and the non-self of nature of things that we can remove craving and attachment for them. Look at things, all phenomena as insubstantial. It is necessary for us to have the direct experience that all conditioned things are marked by the three characteristics. Walking meditation can help us gain insight into the nature of things. So this is the important point of walking meditation. I will pass around these books afterwards and you can take up. Perhaps maybe I can just pass it to you. Okay, at the end of the day, we will look at healthy mind equal healthy body equal happiness. Alright, mindfulness training is primarily train your mind to be continuously aware. Meditation is seeing things clearly for what they are. You have to watch your mind switch from one mental formation of your brain to another. As I explained to you earlier, your mind will run wild. Okay, you will keep switching and switching. The idea is that when you switch from one topic to another topic, you don't latch on to it. You just let it ease away. The more you fight it, the more problems you get. Because when you fight something, it's cause and effect. You create cause, condition, cause, condition. The idea is to just let it ease away. Alright, and then go back to your breath. Alright. When defilement arises, which is negative thoughts, you just let it ease away. Yeah? Each time it arises, let it ease away again. You've got to keep practicing this over and over again until the sense of I and no self is achieved. Right? Primarily, one of the key things that Dhammapada mentioned is that your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own thoughts unguarded. The task is to quieten them and by ruling them to find happiness. So the happiness and sadness, the state that you're in, is highly dependent on your mind. So you must manage the monkey in your mind. And if you don't, the monkey will manage your mind. Right? And when the monkey manages your mind, it becomes very wild. Okay. I mentioned to you about Metta Sutta. Metta Sutta I found extremely useful, and I wanted you all to listen to it carefully. This is the words from and somehow my mouse refused to work. Will you? Okay.
This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in their hearts, in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world.
Okay, I find the Metta Sutta a practice that is very invaluable, and I do this recitation every morning and every evening when I go to sleep. Alright? And it's 10-15 minutes. Alright? And you find that for some unexplained reason, it works beautifully on you. Especially, I find it meaningful is this part when you mention freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Alright. This part has a lot of guidance for you when you are practicing, and it's one of the methodologies that you want to practice and get hold of it, because your enlightenment, alright, can be easily achieved once you master the loving kindness meditation. And I also want to mention, that's why this part I put, speak gently, let no harsh words mar the good we might do here. Just want to mention it that we as humans, almost everything we have are in pairs. Luckily, we only have one mouth. I think if we have two mouths, I think we have created a lot of damages. Right? Because a lot of times when we say something, we will always say things that is inappropriate for a situation. That's why the Eightfold Path has right speech as one of its noble truths. Can you imagine if all of us have two mouths? I can't imagine. Right? So, right speech itself actually heal a lot of things, or heal a lot of people, and end a lot of wars, and it ends a lot of suffering. That's why they always say words that's used unkindly can actually kill and hurt. Now, one of the things that I do for morning reflection in my walk, I will start with
May I be filled with loving kindness.
kindness. May I be well, body and mind.
May I be
sane.
well in body and mind.
That's the voice of Jack Confield.
May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be truly happy and free.
Now, I use this every morning, all right, to keep reminding me that if I encounter anything that is not too nice to me or makes me upset, I will maintain my composure. And I find this practice extremely good when you are driving at a traffic light and when you're getting very agitated with the next driver or whatever. Right? Sometimes in my walks in Megrichi on Saturdays, you have runners running all over the place, crashing into you, so on and so forth. And I find that, when you do this reflection, it helps you to cool yourself down. Right? And this practice, you can use it to give it to others and so on and so forth. Now, my practice of Metta Sutta has actually helped me in a few ways. One of it is when my mother-in-law was very ill beginning of this year, when I saw her in the hospital, she was actually in a semi-conscious state. So what I did is I actually held her hand, alright, and I just concentrated and focused on metta and directed the loving kindness towards her. And in a few seconds later, actually she opened her eyes and was conscious again. It was quite amazing, and I was quite surprised by it. But she was she was about to pass away, and 2 weeks before she passed away, I had a medical appointment at the hospital, so I went to see the doctor first. After I went to see the doctor, I saw her again. That was about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was when I touched her body, her extremes, arms and legs, I could feel that she was almost at her end stage. So I just gave her my loving kindness thought again, and she nodded her head, was a semi-conscious state. Her eyes was closed, she nodded and smiled, and about 1.5 hours later she passed away. Now, from these experiences, I felt that, yes, if you were to practice loving kindness meditation and practice well, right, it becomes instilled into you. And I get this experience when I'm in the forest with animals. I could actually put my hands up here, and the butterflies would actually sit on my tongue. My cat is actually very nice with me. He will sleep with me and so on. All right? And we have other animals coming to the house as well. Birds and all kinds of, even rabbits and all that. Right, and this is my cat. And Henry had an experience with this cat of mine, and he will just crawl up to you and spend time with you. That's why from keeping animals, what I learned is that animals don't express themselves to you. That's why I put the word silence is a great art of conversation. All right, there's a lot of communication going on between you and the animal, but they are always in silence. All right. So back to what Hui Ning has to say. Look within. The secret is inside you. Inside you there is an intellect and there's a subconscious, and you must learn how to talk to your subconscious. Right? Now I get to the heart, the Prajnaparamita. This is the one that actually helped me to propel myself even further in my Dhamma practices. And from here, actually, I went to the Diamond Sutra which I think is
the heart of the Prajna Paramita. The Bodhisattva Avalokita, while moving in the deep course of perfect understanding, shed light on the 5 skandhas and found them equally empty. After this penetration, he overcame all ill being. Listen, Shariputra, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Form is not other than emptiness. Emptiness is not other than form. The same is true with feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Listen, Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They are neither produced nor destroyed, neither defiled nor immaculate, neither increasing nor decreasing. Therefore, in emptiness, there is neither form, nor feelings, nor perceptions, nor mental formations, nor consciousness, no eye, or ear, or nose, or tongue, or body, or mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realms of elements, from eyes to mind consciousness, no interdependent origins and no extinction of them, from ignorance to death and decay, no ill being, no cause of ill being, no end of ill being, and no path, no understanding, no attainment. Because there is no attainment, the Bodhisattvas grounded in perfect understanding find no obstacles for their minds. Having no obstacles, they overcome fear, liberating themselves forever from illusion and realizing perfect Nirvana. All Buddhas in the past, present, and future, thanks to this perfect understanding, arrive at full, right, and universal enlightenment. Therefore, one should know that perfect understanding is the highest mantra, the unequal mantra, the destroyer of all ill being, the incorruptible truth. A mantra of Prajna Paramita should therefore be proclaimed. This is the mantra: Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasangate, Bodhi Swaha.
This is the Heart Sutra, and it is just to highlight a few things about the Heart Sutra. It's very difficult to explain in word by word meaning. It is something that you have to listen to it over and over again, and out of this listening and meditation, one fine day you will see the clarity. So if you don't understand it, not to worry about it. Keep repeating and repeating. One fine day you will master it. But there are a few key things I want to highlight to you here. Is the 5 skandhas. All right, 5 skandhas is something that you need to know. All right. Now the 5 skandhas, in simple terms, I put it down here as your personality. All right. When you talk about form basically covers the material or physical aspect of the world, and it comprises primarily the 4 material elements: earth, water, air, fire, 5 sense organs, and 5 sense objects. Now, feelings are basically feelings in us, but they are basically, we divide it into pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. All right. Now, what determines a lot of our sufferings are basically perceptions. Now, perceptions will always give rise to feelings where we decide whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, and it is compounded further by impulses, mental formations in us, and as well as consciousness in us as well. So the 5 skandhas, you must understand it very well, because they are primarily what we are. Alright? Perceptions, you have 6 senses: your eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body. Your eyes see the form, your ear hear the sound, your nose smell, your body and skin feel. Alright. Now the impulses and mental formations, imprints inside us, will actually get what I call marinated with your perceptions and whatever consciousness that you have, and then you decide whether you have a good feeling or you have a bad feeling, or somebody makes you angry or somebody makes you happy. Alright, so the 5 skandhas constitute your personality. Now, this part you try to understand it, because when we go to causes of suffering, you will know that how the 5 skandhas influence it. Now, then you talk about getting out of suffering, the way to cessation of sufferings. Now, how are you going to apply the Eightfold Path to manage your skandhas? Right? That will have an effect on it. Then the practice of wisdom, perfection of wisdom, how it helps you to overcome all these problems so that you become enlightened. Right? Now, when you hear what Thich Nhat Hanh has to say about form and emptiness, sometimes you get a little bit confused about what this whole emptiness is about. Now, everything existing object in the world is empty. Now, what is meant by empty? One explanation is empty because it's neutral. Alright? There is no such thing as good or no such thing as bad. Alright? Every object or situation. We taste a curry. Some of us will say good. Some of us will say bad. As far as the curry is concerned, it's the curry. It's not good or not bad. Alright? So, good and bad is something that we add in. Alright? An object becomes good or bad according to our own perceptions. Perceptions are dictated by good or bad imprints we put in our minds. Imprints are planted by what we acquire, experience, learn, observe, infer, conclude, real or imaginary, rightly or wrongly, appropriately or inappropriately. This is the whole thing to it. That's why brainwashing is so powerful. Alright? We can brainwash you to see something that black is white and you will see black is white. Alright? So that's why every object in the world is empty. We create it with our own minds. So likewise, problems are not problems on its own. There's something in our mind that makes us see it as a problem. Alternatively, you look at problems and you can see it as an opportunity. Because no problem is a problem in and of itself. Now, the saying of Suzuki Roshi is, if your mind is empty, it's always ready for anything. It is open to everything. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert mind, there are few. That's why it's extremely important to meditate. Because when you meditate and empty yourself of all thoughts and of all volitions, then you can listen to yourself inside. Dialectics of the Prajnaparamita, you just now get to see form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Basically, this gives you a little bit of a understanding of the dialectics. Basically, it's trying to tell you the conventional logic A is A, A is not B, but in the understanding of interdependent arising, A is not just A, A is comprised of B, C and T elements, alright? And likewise, you see a rose, not merely a rose, but made up of non-rose elements such as composed soil, water, air and sunshine, etc. So likewise, today you see a beautiful rose, tomorrow it will wither away and then you become composed. So the rose and the composed, they are actually inter-are. Now, this is one part of the Prajna Paramita that I find extremely useful. You see this picture here are basically the three monkeys. Hear no evil, speak no evil, say no evil. Alright, and when I mentioned when your feelings get the better of you, just imagine emptiness. Okay? Think emptiness. Imagine that you're empty of an eye or empty of yourself. Imagine that you have none of the above. That means you don't have your eyes, you don't have your ears. If you want to do a quick experiment, you just close your eyes right now and then you just shut. Empty of yourself, and you will find that it's totally still. One trick that I use to tell people when they're emotionally upset, you can use this method, or you can stop time. When you stop time is you take a picture with your mind. That means you treat your mind like a camera. Take a picture and suddenly what you take is a snapshot, and that snapshot when you look at it has got no feeling. You've got no feeling, no sense of time, nothing. And if you are emotionally upset, you practice that. It helps a lot. Now, one of the days when I was practicing the Prajna Paramita during my walk, when I reached the stage of the Bodhisattva grounded in perfect understanding, find no obstacles for their mind, having no obstacles, they overcome fear, liberating themselves forever from illusion. You see this picture there? I kind of blur it up. Basically, it's a picture of an accident. Alright? Now, I saw the bus hit the taxi, and the taxi hit the motorcyclist. The taxi driver's foot stepped on the accelerator more, and the next moment the taxi flew off, and then the rear wheel actually kicked the motorcycle away, and then the taxi landed on the motorcyclist. Now, all this happened in slow motion, recorded by my eyes. Right. Now, I want to share with you that now you look at this picture, you only see a picture. Right. But when this accident took place, for 4 nights, alright, my mind was a tape recorder, video recorder, playing it over and over and over again. Alright. Now, and actually it helped me understand the Prajna Paramita a lot better. Alright, on treating emptiness. So what I had to do was to empty my mind of the sins. Right? And I realized how unreliable the human mind is as a witness. Right? Because when I saw this accident, I was actually at the bus stop. My mind was recording it from the middle of the road. Right. I didn't realize until I visited the accident site, because whenever I come back from work, I will pass. And when I visited the accident site, I realized that my mind has distorted what I have seen. So, the moral of the story here is what we see, what we hear, what we learn. Alright? We will not be able to translate it clearly as it is. That's why when we apply right understanding, right view, perfect vision, is something that what we are trying to do in our daily life, which we think is perfect and right, is rarely perfect and right. And that's why we have to continuously practice it over and over again. And this actually helped me to understand the first of the Noble Eightfold Path a lot better. Right? Any questions so far? Hope it's not too heavy for everyone. Okay. Anyway, just to share with you what I personally feel about the prajna paramita. Yes. What it means is that whatever we see, alright, because of our perceptions, because of our thoughts, because of our subconscious, we will add to the things that we see. Alright, we will exaggerate in simple terms. Alright, or we will dramatize. Alright, that's the human being. It's part of our nature. And sometimes it's subconscious. That's why in Ajahn Brahm's book, Ajahn Brahm wrote a book on meditation, and he did mention specifically that's why the mind will always play tricks on you. That's why they say that traffic police do not take eyewitnesses' evidence directly. They will always take a few, but they will not take one. Alright? And they will take it immediately. If they don't take the eyewitnesses, what you call evidence immediately, 1 day, 2 days later, it's no longer accurate. So that, do I answer your question? The distortion is simple. Is my view of the accident is from the bus stop. That is where I was. But my mind actually sees the accident from the center of the road, which I wasn't there. Alright, so this is where I'm at. But the angle on my video camera is this side. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And perhaps sometimes one day you may want to observe it. In almost all near-death experiences, crises, you will find that your mind actually starts to record the images slowly, frame by frame. Right? When I saw this accident, it was actually frame by frame. Almost the same like when our boat was hitting the wave and when it sank. Alright? All the images were in slow motion. And it was the same thing. It will keep replaying in your head for 4 or 5 days. Alright? And every time when it replays in your head, it will add something to it. Then after a while you find it, not too accurate. Alright? That's the effect. Strange, but it happens. Alright, now, basically I treat the prajna paramita, it gives us, the one lesson I learned from the prajna paramita is the gift of non-fear. Alright, and that is very important because it gives us the awareness to practice making peace with ourselves in transcending the fear of birth and death and the duality of this. And in the light of emptiness, everything is everything else. We inter-exist together. Everyone is responsible for everything that happens in life. Alright. Now, here I take it that the prajna paramitas, what it's trying to get to us is that all of us do not exist on our own self. We are interdependent or inter-exist with others. We influence each other. Now, it's very simple experiment that you can do. You take 2 strangers together, you keep them 4 feet apart, 1 meter apart, it's fine. You put 2 strangers together, you crush them together, let them stand side by side. Alright, they automatically feel uncomfortable. Alright? Now, if you are angry, you go home, your loved one will feel it. Alright? Now, if you are unkind to animals, you walk near an animal will walk away. Alright? So, we are inter-influence. Alright? Now, here you look at, I basically draw this chart out because first we talk about the 5 skandhas. Alright? What I'm trying to tell you now is that the 5 skandhas are basically like ellipses in an atom. The basic electrons. You have feelings, you have mental formations, you have your body, you have your perception. Now, if you were to look at it, all this actually create suffering. Alright? The dynamics. Alright? We will influence each other. So that's why I have out here is the way to peace and happiness is to recognize that the universe is made up of interdependent particles, elements and being. Now, how do we get away from all this? Is basically the Eightfold Path. It's very simple like that. And all things are one. 自庄师. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Alright. Now, you talk about how things influence you. Yeah, if somebody hits your car and your car has get towed away, you get all upset. Alright? You talk about love for a child. If something happens to the child, we get upset. Not only we, the whole family. Father, mother, brothers, sisters, grandparents, aunties and uncles, so on. Alright? When we quarrel in the office, when we fight in the office, you can find the whole office becomes super tense. Alright? And when we crave and get hungry, we just go for food, irregardless. You will find it in tours where everybody rush for food. Alright? But before I move on to another slide, I just want you all to listen to this.
Throughout the universe, there is order. In the movement of the planets, in nature, and in the functioning of the human mind. A mind that is in its natural state of order is in harmony with the universe. And such a mind is timeless. Your life is an expression of your mind. You're a creator of your own universe. For as a human being, you're free to will whatever state of being you desire through the use of your thoughts and words. There is great power there. It can be a blessing or a curse. It is entirely up to you. For the quality of your life is brought about by the quality of your thinking. Think about that. Thoughts produce actions. Look at what you're thinking. See the pettiness and the envy and the greed and the fear and all the other attitudes that cause you pain and discomfort. Realize that the one thing you have absolute control over is your attitude. See the effect it has on those around you. For each life is linked to all life. And your words carry with them chain reactions, like a stone that is thrown into a pond. If your thinking is in order, your words will flow directly from the heart, creating ripples of love. If you truly want to change your world, my friends, you must change your thinking. Reason is your greatest tool. It creates an atmosphere of understanding, which leads to caring, which is love. Choose your words with care. Go forth with love.
So I hope you all can learn something from the singer. His name is Kamal. I just thought it's appropriate to have him speak his words out. And here I have a picture of Buddha taken in a museum in Shanghai, and I thought it's quite appropriate to mention that the greatest truths are the simplest, and so are the greatest, men and women. And the Buddha is, I think, the only one that I can think of right now. And the main reason I say that is that the Eightfold Path is the way to cessation of suffering. Alright? They're very simple, basic practices that if we were to practice every day, we will make life a lot better for everybody else and for ourselves. Right understanding. Just think about, do I understand others? What they feel? Where they're coming from? Right understanding. Then you have right intention. Is my life fulfilling? Am I doing what I really want? Or am I doing it simply what has come along? Am I living a purposeful life? Right speech, extremely important. Do I use words to hurt or heal? To burden or bless others? When I make a promise, do I keep it? Right action. Do I try to be skillful in responding to those around me? My family, friends and colleagues, seeking to make things better rather than worse. Right livelihood. Am I engaged in work and activities that bring me satisfaction? And right livelihood, seriously, think about it. Alright? I mean, people who are butchers, you can interview them, they can tell you after a while that, hey, it's something that they won't like to be in. And I'm an aeronautical engineer. In my earlier years, I work on military aircraft. I have equipment that we make on B-1 bombers, B-2 bombers. I don't know how many people they have killed, but I feel responsible. I think sometimes I had to pay for that myself. I think I'm paying for it. Right effort. Are the people in my life good for me or bad for me? Do they lift me up or pull me down when I'm expected responsibility, whether it's professional or personal? Am I trying to do my best? Now, right effort with the people that you mix is very important, because a sangha is your fellowship of people. They will actually help you to promote your dharmas. And in my walks, I've always encountered people. I can hear people complaining about colleagues in the office, fines in the office, and so on. Why this guy is not so good, why that guy is not so good. The person who speaks is always the God. They are always super good, you know. So my thought is true, right speech, all right. Now, if you're implanting something that is not right to somebody's mind and saying something to somebody's mind, that person will be consuming something that is not appropriate as well. So we are actually not doing justice to our counterparts. So what we say is very important. So bear that in mind. Right mindfulness. Do I try to see the best, hope for the best, and work for the best in all things? Right concentration. Do I read materials and facilitate my inner growth? Reading materials, I always say, is important. You look at the advertisements today. Alright, last few days report, a lot of younger teens are engaged in premarital sex and so on and so forth. Yeah, I told my wife and son and daughter, it's expected, because you look at the television programs, you look at the drama programs, you look at the advertisements, they are all implanting these in the minds of the young people, and the young people will emulate. And they say, yeah, it's modern lifestyle. Well, it's, again, whether it's a mindful consumption or not. I'm going to sum up very shortly, so hopefully you folks have time to actually ask me some questions along the way. I drew up this chart simply to show everybody that to get to Buddhahood is not difficult. Alright? And I personally try to do my best, hopefully that I'm not reborn again. If I can. Okay? So from what I talked to you earlier, basically suffering and causes of suffering. Mainly we suffer because we have body and feelings. And primarily the most important thing is ignorance. Ignorance always gets us into trouble. Perceptions, mental formations and consciousness. Right thoughts, right understanding. Many of the times our thinking is going to make the better of us. If your thinking goes awry, your mental formations disturb you, you are in trouble, right? So with the sensation, as I mentioned earlier, is the Eightfold Path. Huh? Then I have some keywords here. Who am I? When you do your meditation, try to look at who you are. Try to look inside you. Alright? 9 out of 10 times after you practice that, you cannot find your I, which is good. Then you can say, I'm empty of the I. Right? Stillness, equanimity, mindful consumption, all these are important. Silence, contemplation, right? Meditation, you can say this. So all these are keywords that I always mention to people. Look at it, right? And finally, the Buddha says, although I showed you the means of liberation, you must know it depends on you alone. That means you have to be your own master. You have to be your own Buddha. Right? And now, practicing the Buddhism, practicing the Dhammas, practicing the Eightfold Path, don't have to be a Sunday where you go to a temple, or don't have to be a day where you come to BF on Wednesdays or Friday. Do it every day. Like what the Dalai Lama said, there's no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness. Alright? Now this picture was taken from my window. My window actually looks out to Gong Ming Sua Fukapsi Temple, and this is the sight that greets me every morning. So whether I like it or not, I have to meditate. And my father's ashes are there. So here, the only thing I have to say is the clock of life is wound but once, and no man has the power to tell just when the hands will stop. At late or early hour, now is the only time you own. Live, love, toil with a will. Place no faith in tomorrow, for the clock may then be still. So the whole idea to this message is live in the now, live in the present. Alright? And if you were to see the scene of the accident, that man who got hit by the taxi didn't deserve to be hit. He was there at the traffic light. He did nothing wrong. He was just there at the wrong time, at the wrong place. But thankfully he did survive. So some thoughts before we leave. Just want to mention, we do not meditate for enlightenment. That will happen in the future. We practice meditation so that each moment of our life becomes real life. The heart of understanding takes us right up to perfect understanding. We see reality rather than turn a blind eye from the painful truth. Perfect understanding leads us to the first of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right understanding, view, perfect vision, and perfect understanding. Our transformation will eventually grow in the concurrent practice of right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, the way to the cessation of suffering. The Metta Sutta reminds us to practice loving kindness, compassion, clarity of vision, humbleness, gentleness, and wise in speech. Right? Now, the walking meditation will help us build our physical health and our mental health. Healthy mind and healthy body makes a happy person. This requires right effort and right action. Number 9 and 10, you will have to answer yourself. You have 1,440 minutes a day, 480 minutes taken up by sleep. Will you spend 45 minutes from the balance of 960 minutes each day for good health, happiness, and peace with yourself? Make that choice. Thank you.
I'm sure, I think everybody benefits tonight I think with the number of slides and the explanation, I think Brother George really put his effort to make this talk a very meaningful one. And I really sincerely thanks Brother George once again.
Thanks, George, for a very useful talk. Just a few comments. I think last week's paper, I think they say that as Singapore ages, a lot of us will get Alzheimer. And of course, drug companies will push for this drug, that drug, and all that. In fact, from the recent, I think, medical studies, they say most of these drugs, like ginkgo, is not of proven value. The only thing they say that will make a significance during the onset of Alzheimer's disease or senile dementia is actually walking 3 times a week. Okay, so I mean, you can save your money on your ginkgo and all your doctor. You only make the doctor's rich on the vitamins and vitamin. Walking 3 times a week is the only one that has been so far proven to delay the onset of Alzheimer's, senile dementia. And also, George may also forgot to mention that in his MP3, besides the Heart Sutra and the Metta Sutra, he also includes inside all the various Buddhist chants. So as you walk along, it accompanies him. And he was kind enough to actually to download it for me. And you can actually download it from I think on the website. There are very, very useful sites where you can download all these chants for free. The last comment is that I think our brother over here will say about what our mind sees may not be the truth. There's a very famous Japanese movie, Lashonon, by Kurosawa, in which they show a murder scene witnessed by 8 people. 8 people gave 8 different versions. Who is right?
Thank you, Brother Henry. Incidentally, Brother Henry is also our EXCO member, and he also himself is a doctor, and he tells us that not to see him save the money. Most doctors will ask you not to exercise, but he say, do more walking. Exercise, okay, exercise.
In case any of you want to download some of the MP3s, there are some websites here. Plum Village. Plum Village is actually a website where Thich Nhat Hanh has most of his teachings and talks recorded, so you could download from there. If you are on Yahoo, you just key in Thich Nhat Hanh, Plum Village, and you should be able to find it. Now, walkingabout.com is another website that you can go to look at how you walk and what are the things that you need to do about walking. Now, freebuddhistaudio.com is a very good website for English speakers. Basically, it's led by a Venerable Sangharashita, who is the founder of the Friends of the Western Buddhist Order. And he's got a lot of recordings, and because he's an Englishman, you will find that his presentation of the Dhammas are very well thought out and spoken. Of course, this talk has been made possible with quite a fair bit of help from Dr. Henry Yeo. I had to use some of his books. But that MP3 disc by Venerable Mahinda Metta Loving Kindness, all of you should lay hands on it. Now, if you need to download MP3 or copy MP3 from your CDs and shorten, there's a website called download.com. Download.com has a program called Audio Converter. Now, the Audio Converter allows you to actually trim your audio from, like, if it's 1 hour, you just want to trim a portion of it to like 10 minutes, you can get it done. And another program, there are some MP3 cutters and joiners where you can actually cut your MP3s and join your MP3s. That's what I do on my MP3 player. My MP3 player has got plenty of things in there, but I will every day without fail do the Metta Sutta and Heart Sutra. In life, what is important is that we must do things step by step. Alright? We try not be too overly hungry or greedy, and everything in Buddhism we want to learn in one day. It doesn't work that way. I have always tell many people, you start with the Eightfold Path, you learn loving kindness, and the path will open up for you. Alright? Any questions or any concerns? And anybody who wants to walk around Macritchie area, I'm there almost every day, but my timing can vary lah. But the only thing you want to do is that I always tell people, walk mindfully. Alright? Don't turn on your MP3 so loud until you can't hear anybody else except yourself. Alright? I don't want you to get deaf also. Alright? And then when you walk, be aware of other walkers, and if you're walking along the road or anything, please cross the road mindfully, and then don't forget about cars and all that. The Dharma can't protect you if you are reckless. Okay, the Dharma can only guard people who are mindful. If you're reckless, you have to pay it yourself. Alright? The mirror within, you can get it free. The one appointment with life, our appointment with life, the Buddha's teaching on living in the present, you have to buy. That one is by Thich Nhat Hanh. There are Indian editions that cost about $10. Sometimes you may not be able to find that book easily, but I found a copy in the Yishun library that I borrowed. Alright, our appointment with life, the Buddha's teaching on living in the present, is a very simple book to read. I actually urge you all to read this book because this book talks about a monk who actually likes to live alone, and how the Buddha actually taught him how to live alone. Alright. Now the main reason I talk about living alone is that whether we like it or not, when we are about to die, and when we want to cross to the other side, whether you like it or not, you are alone. Your closest person will not be able to follow you. You walk that path yourself. You are born alone and we die alone. Alright? The whole idea about all these practices is that when we face death, we accept it for what it is, and accept it with calmness, composure, with peace of mind. And that is very crucial. Unconfused state. That's why in your meditation you always have to keep practicing and practicing until you can achieve that stillness where your mind is not confused. Alright?
Other comments? Questions to ask Brother George? If not, we shall wrap up. Another one?
One
more question, one more. Last one.
You're visiting someone in the hospital who is sick. So, does the metta help the person?
Alright. The metta will help the person. Alright. Provided you have practiced Metta Sutta well enough. Alright. Now that means you have meditated upon it, understood it, so much so that you are internalized. When you are internalized, actually you don't have to say anything, you just touch and hold the person's hand. They will feel the difference. Alright. And the moment you will know how this works is because the moment you touch the person, you can sense the feeling going across, and you will get a feedback. You will feel it yourself. Alright? And if you have uncomfortable feeling, you know that it's not, the party is not receiving it. Right? So the idea is that you have to practice loving kindness all the time. But once you achieve that, you find that your speech will flow with your actions, because when we talk about mindfulness, we talk about perception. Alright? When you talk, when you do something, your words doesn't carry itself. The body language comes, your facial expressions, your feelings are all regulated. That's why I showed you the chart on the atom, right? How it influences people, because your body will actually radiate that energy out. So if your heart is happy, you will radiate the energy of happiness out. But if your heart is sad, you will also radiate the sadness out. So when you want to see somebody in the hospital who is ill, you need to calm yourself, actually clean yourself of your thoughts, and then meditate on it before you go and see them. That will help them a lot.
Okay. I will do some announcement before we end our service. This coming Sunday, they'll be taught by Brother Tan.